Because no, I have to admit right from the start that I'm moonlighting in the music industry. My training is in literary studies, but the idea of setting up a center for reggae study at the University of the West Indies came to me out of the experience of a forum like this that Ramsey Grange had put on for trying to develop a fund, a venture capital fund for the reggae music industry. And I was asked to talk about, to take part, and I chose to give a presentation on the sort of the implications of marketing reggae internationally. And this was at the time when Buju's Boom Bye Bye had just come out, and the whole drama, the trauma that had been generated by that song. This is 20 years ago. And the talk I gave was really about reggae artists, dancehall DJs, thinking about what kind of message, as we say, message music, what is the message it's sending out, and how is this message going to be viewed internationally? Well, I wouldn't have expected the DJs to listen to me because I'm really just a university lecturer and I'm the big man, them know what I do. But as we have seen, a whole generation of artists has gotten into trouble because of not being sensitive to the implications of marketing what they perform. And it is true that you have to have integrity. You have to speak out of your own conviction. But as you operate within what we are broadly calling market, Babylon, whatever, we have to recognize that market forces do determine how the product is received. And if I think if people were more sensitive to this issue, they might have sung the same songs in terms of the same message, but maybe the language in which they articulate the message would be different. Just recently, I got an email from Sizzla's manager to say, could I write a statement for them because Sizzla made some fireburn reference in reference to gay people, and people are now saying that he's speaking for the literal burning of gay people. So of course, I, from the university, I now have to come and do damage control to try to say, well, yes, it's really a metaphor, it doesn't mean literally burning, but the idea of fire is being used in a biblical sense and so on and so forth. But yes, but if you know that people out there listen to your music, why are you going to even bother to use a fire rhetoric? And to be honest, I think Ninja Man has the best attitude on this matter. He says, I don't promote certain things, I don't mention them in my songs, And I think if you're sensitive to the market, then you take that rational approach. Now, of course, too, I used to make the argument about cultural authenticity, and yes, we should be allowed to speak authentically our own culture, but one of the things we have to recognize is that cultural authenticity is not something that remains the same for all time, that our own culture is in transition. So what we might think of as authentic Jamaican culture is not necessarily authentic Jamaican culture for all time. Our society is evolving, and we need to recognize that as artists, we're not speaking just for ourselves. Yes, you're speaking first for yourself, but you're speaking to people. You're speaking to an audience, and your audience is very sophisticated, very diverse. So you need to be sure that you're not alienating parts of your audience unnecessarily. That's one kind of approach.